So I wanted to, there's been a few changes to PTSD in the new DSM, so I thought I would mention those. Rather than 3 categories, I just have this really memorized when I tell it to clients, but rather than 3 categories, we now have 4. So we still have hyperarousal, intrusive thoughts, but they took the numbing out of the avoidance category and moved it down into negative cognitions and mood, and you can see all the different parts of that. All right, my boss used to explain PTSD as a disorder of the body's fear extinction mechanism. And that normally you get back on the horse after something happens, but with PTSD, the fear never subsides. And cues and triggers are recorded as the brain is going into overdrive when the trauma is happening, and it is snapping shots of everything. And people think that little kids don't remember trauma, and that's completely wrong. They do. But it's stored in a different area of the brain. It's stored in the limbic system. And if their prefrontal cortex is not fully developed. And so that actually, little kids wind up with flashes of really awful images that come to their brain, and they don't know where it came from, and they don't have a coherent story to put with it. They just know that they sometimes see these awful things that crop up for them. All right. As you know, PTSD requires a lot of symptoms from a wide array of categories, but post-traumatic stress syndrome only requires some symptoms from some categories. And research shows that PTSS, post-traumatic stress syndrome, causes absolutely as much impairment as PTSD. So it's really important for people to have PTSS treated. And they're both curable with treatment. So what do? Start by taking your temperature. So everybody take a look at your feeling thermometer. I use this with adults and kids. And just mentally make a note of where it is you feel right now, especially now that I talked about all these awful, icky studies about trauma. So everybody take a note of where you are at. All right, so we will start by taking some breaths. So we're going to start together as a group. We're going to take 3 long, slow, deep breaths, okay? And I want you to put your shoulders back and sit up straight in your chair. You're going to go for full lung expansion. You're going to try to expand the muscles in between your ribs, all right? So, and when I tell kids, when my finger goes up the mountain, we're going to breathe in, and when my finger goes down, we're going to breathe out twice as slow. And you can blow out like you're blowing through a soda straw. But you're going to try to make the inhale maybe about 3 seconds and the exhale maybe about 6 seconds. Okay? All right, so everybody, breathe in. Now breathe out slow. Breathe in. Breathe out slow. Breathe in. Breathe out slow. All right. How does everybody feel? Anybody notice that their temperature went down maybe a degree or so? Okay. How many people felt a little bit more calm or relaxed? Show of hands when you did that. Okay, good. Most of you. All right, this is what everybody needs to know about long, slow, deep breathing. You need to know about the anatomy of a fight or flight reaction. So the minute that you sense trauma, your neurotransmitters are flying into action. And the very first thing that you do when you get scared is you go, right? And when you go, you hyperoxygenate all the blood that's in your lungs right now. And your brain just triggered your heart to start these mighty beats. And that really good quality blood was now diverted into your arms and legs so that you can fight or you can run. And it also shuts down, sharpens your eyesight and your hearing and your eyesight, and it shuts down non-essential systems like digestion, which means a lot of people, when they get scared, throw up or get nauseous. But sometimes that throwing up then allows them to immediately run, or fight, either one. So anxiety is kind of I tell clients anxiety is a crescendo, and way up here is a fight or flight reaction or a panic attack or really extreme crying or anger, something like that. And when you start that long, slow, deep breathing, it stops that physiological process in its tracks. And the reason is that your body cannot be in a fear or panic situation at the same time as you do that sort of breathing. So when you do that, you have now signaled the brain that the danger has passed and it can calm down. All right. Well, I heard my abnormal teacher said that my abnormal psych teacher said 60% of people get calmed by long, slow, deep breathing, but 40% remain anxious. And it looked like most of us in this room felt a little calmer. So you got to have something, though, for that 40%. I mean, everybody needs to start with those 3 long, slow, deep breaths because that interrupts the fight or flight reaction that is going on. And the problem with people with PTSD is they're having fight or flight reactions all the time, unbidden. And so you want to know progressive muscle relaxation. So we're going to walk through that. All right, so here's how I teach it to kids. I say, we're going to hold various muscle groups, we're going to make them as tight as we can, and then hold them for a second or two, and then let them relax. And we'll do each group 3 times. So we're going to start by picking up 2 lemons and pretending that we're squeezing them tight, 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 tight. Tightening all these muscles around here. Okay, now relax. Okay. Pick up 2 more. Tight, 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 tight. Okay, now relax. Pick up 2 more. Tight, 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 tight. Okay, now relax. All right, bring your shoulders up to your ears and drop them down. And bring them up and drop them down. And bring them up and drop them down. Next, pretend there's a fly on the end of your nose and you can only get it off if you squinch up your face. And we hold a lot of tension in our faces, so this is a good one. So squinch up your face and then relax your face. And squinch it up and relax and squinch it up and relax. All right, suck in your stomach really hard. Tight, tight, tight. Okay, now let it go. And suck it in and let it go. And suck it in and let it go. All right, I don't know if you guys will be able to do this, but lift up your legs, point your toes. You're going to tighten your calves and your thighs. Hold them up and then drop them down. And bring them up and down and up and down. Tighten up your butt and the backs of your thighs so you're sitting up higher in the seat. Tight, tight, tight. Okay, now relax. And tighten it. And relax. And tighten. And relax. Okay, now look at the temperature thermometer and see where your temperature's at. Anybody find, hopefully you all found that you're a little bit lower on that thermometer. All right. So if you're still, after you shut down the physiological reaction in your body with the breathing, you still need to do this progressive muscle relaxation because that relaxes 100% of people, works for everybody. And then we had a little guided imagery that that Dr. Carrion taught us that we do with the kids. So I'd like to do that with you. So I would like you to close your eyes. And this is going to be just a little 1-minute guided imagery. Take a deep breath, and you're going to imagine that you're at a beautiful place in nature that you love, some place that's real, that you've been before. And I want you to make it as real as you can. So allow your imagination to paint the picture of what it looks like there today, the wind, the sun, the way it smells, everything. And for this 1 minute that we're going to remain silent, you can either walk around in this place and explore it, or you can just sit down in one place, either way. And one of the things that kind of makes this easier for some people is if you look at the details. So you could look at the bark of the trees, you could look at the way the leaf looks, the pattern of it. You could look at what's under your feet, at the grass, and see if there's any little ants, or look at the sand, whatever you want. And I'm going to hold silence for 1 minute while you either sit in one place and relax or walk around and explore.